Hello and welcome. I want to do a video, probably two videos. The first going over super briefly all the different areas of horizontal movements, simple horizontal cuts and pastes and reorganizational marking and stuff like that. This is the stage usually called putting in Vim Golf. You get to your line or your search or whatever, and now you're on the line doing your copy and pastes and cuts. So you there is a jump list, which is very useful in Vim to organize stuff, but it only can store one horizontal location per line. So it's great for vertical stuff or jumping to a particular place on a line, or you can also of course go to the first text on the line, the beginning of the line, the end, the last text, or the middle very easily. But it's not great for recording your jumps, hopping around horizontally. So you have to handle that other ways, possibly by setting marks for each, but I'll show a number of different ways. So the most efficient and powerful horizontal movement commands are these guys here, T and F. The T and F go forward, capital T and capital F will start searching backwards. These are single character, single line searches. So let's say I want to jump to the letter M, and I'm over here. I could say F forward to M, jump right to the M, and if I hit semicolon, it repeats it. And then you can also keep repeating by giving it a number argument. So these are super useful if you have a big line like this. As you can see, if I hit small w, taken forever, every little funny character that's not normal alphanumeric has to be parsed through. And if I use big letter W, then of course there's no spaces in it, so I'll just hop right down to the beginning of the next line because there's no spaces for capital W word to find. So instead what's much more efficient is to say F and then slash, and now I'm using the slash as a delimiter, semicolon, hop, 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 stop hopping down the line right on the slash, so that if I want to start copying and pasting things, I can very easily and exactly always go between the delimiters of the URL or the file name or path or whatever you're doing. Don't have to worry about using the mouse to get it exactly on, or sitting there fidgeting with the arrow keys or anything, or the HJKL for that matter. But so this is a way, aside from search, to jump right onto those keys, and then of course you use visual mode in copying and yanking and pasting to rearrange it. So that is the power of TT and FF. Especially with visual mode selecting. They are super powerful, but if you don't know exactly what character to jump to, or there's too many of them or something else, the next most powerful set of commands are these large selections of hops, scrolls, horizontal scrolls, or small scrolls, with marks and jumps that accompany them, which help set your history list and stuff like that. But I'm going to try not to go into any of these again, but these are all the different normal mode commands that hop you around a line in different ways. For example, 0 takes you to the very beginning of the physical line. Up caret takes you to the first text on the line. G0 takes you to the first, on the screen, the first visible character. G caret takes you to the first text on the, if your window is horizontally scrolling, which mine currently isn't, you can use these to hop to the ends of either the extreme of the line or just the visible line, or if you're wrapping a line, that's what I wrote here, be aware of window, line, and wrap. Those settings and whatever you've got going on will change the nature a lot of these tiny hop commands that do things like hop you to the middle of a line or a certain percentage of the way through, and you'll have to kind of know what you want a little bit, depending on if you want to go up and down within a line wrap or scroll off to the left or right. These are the scrolling commands, ZH and ZL, and these are the extreme scrolling commands, ZS and ZE. They take whatever character you're on and pop it to the very edge so that you see the most off to the left or the right of it. Pretty useful for saving time if you found what you want and you want to see the rest. This is the simple map command. If you want to save time, you can say map old new, change the keys that call up a command. One thing that people do that to in particular, it's sort of described, if you use GJ and GK a lot to hop up and down within a wrap, you can remap those to J and K, and you can also add additional commands that you like onto the end of a command you like to use a lot. For example, in this case, I've added M, single quote at the end, which adds a mark after whatever you do. So adds a jump. It puts it in the jump list so that it makes sure that it gets entered into the jump list that you can access with Control and Control I. Those go, Control O is old, goes backwards through every position you were at in the file, and Control I goes forward through every position, but only one per line, which is not one horizontal position remembered for each line. So it's not great for these horizontal workings that we're doing right now, but it still is very useful though. So that's the TTFTs, and these are all the line, middle of, and end of, and beginning of. There's of course good old small w and big W to move by word, and big word. These parentheses move to the ends of sentences. They find fairly human stuff like exclamation points and question marks and periods with two spaces afterwards. These move between paragraphs, which are basically blank lines. Actually, that shouldn't be in there because we're doing horizontal movements, but and you can reassign any of these, like up here, if you don't use them a lot for what they actually do. All right, I just keep flying through all this stuff. This is colon number. That's the simplest vertical jump, is just go into command line and then say line 20, hit return, colon line 10, hit return. It jumps you right there. The equivalent for horizontal is to say number and then hit the pipe column. So if I want to go to column 20, I'll say 20, and then the pipe symbol. Oh, well, there's nothing on this line that has. So 20 and then the pipe symbol, or 40 and then the pipe symbol, 60 and then the pipe symbol, 0. So that's a number before, over here, a number before a pipe symbol. Now, just like colon 20 drops you to exact line 20, if I type a number and then a percent sign after the number, it takes me vertically to that percent of the file. So if I type 50 and then the percent key, I'm halfway through. If I type 90 and then the percent, I'm down at 90% into the file. 10 and then percent, now up at the 10% top of the file. So that's how to do some quick jumps based on percentage vertically, and horizontally it's a number and then G and capital M. So if I want to go 50% of the way into the line, I type G 50 and then G and capital M. 90 of the way out to the line, G and then capital M. 90. 1% of the way in, 1 G capital M. So that's horizontal percentage jumping and exact column number jumping, and also vertical for both of those as well. So we did the single character, single line search command, CTF. I won't demonstrate the differences with if the line is wrapping or not with all these commands. It's a bit much laborious. You're going to have to practice choosing the right one and be quick with it anyway. But once you are quick with it and you know to jump to exactly what you want, these save a ton of work. They hop you right onto stuff. But let's see. Let's start from the bottom here. Set color column equals numbers. So if you want to keep track of columns in a different way, with horizontal stuff, you can say color column equals 20, gives a red line. Set color column equals 42. Now it's on 42. Or I can say set color column 42, 12, 30, 6, and 7. And boom, does all this. So, if you want to be copying and pasting and keeping track of stuff or lining things up, it can be kind of useful. Especially with the horizontal scrolling. If I were to scroll off to the right and I'm losing track of stuff as it goes off to the left, anyway, so that's color column, and you turn it off by setting it equal to an empty space. And set which wrap. This is a set of options which are pretty complicated. I won't get into them now, but just so you know that there's a number of little commands like these, which as you're moving, they get to the end of the line, obviously. And some of them can be set to keep on going to the next line, or some of them you'd rather they stop and say beep beep, don't, you're at the end of the line. And some of those can be chosen to how they behave with the set which wrap options. So now you know that that's there. You could say help on which wrap if that is an issue, or if you find something super useful but you're annoyed because it won't keep going off the end of the line. Now set virtual edit, that's another important horizontal thing, because let's say I'm working on these, I had everything all lined up a little bit vertically nicely, and I want to put something here all of a sudden. Well, it's annoying. I got to tab all the way out and space all the way out. So instead I can say set virtual edit equals all, in this case, and just to be quick, and now I can click anywhere, and even over here where there has been no text yet, and I can do visual block mode and do free floating rectangles like that. So that's what virtual edit is for, and if you're constantly chronically wanting to add to the ends of sentences and lines, then you don't want it, actually, because it's much more convenient just to be able to click here and it'll automatically bring you to where you want to be typing. So that's virtual edit, the which wrap options, setting color column, num, col num, and num gm, the nature of a single line search. I won't show what it's like to deal with wrap and scrolling off the sides. Remap commands that are annoying or take too long. You can add commands together. Big word, small word, paragraph, sentences. Control O and Control I go backwards and forwards through that jump list. More recently and more and older. And without number in front of it, the percentage sign is a jump that hops on things like paragraph markers, not paragraphs themselves, but the outer. See, it hops around it, and up here it'll first take me to the next one, and then I go around it and next. So if you have a bunch of cluttered up paragraphs, cluttered up parentheses that are nested, or there's some problem and there's hanging unclosed ones, this can really help you hop quickly through it, especially if it's badly formatted and you're looking at code or something. So that's the percentage used without a number, completely different than putting a number before it. It's a jump, it's a motion. M slanty single quote is a funny mark to set. It inserts into the last mark quote. It makes Vim remember the last mark, last position, your current position, puts it on the jump list, and it is itself a mark. And you can sort of, when you work with it, you can kind of have two jumps at the time on the line. I won't show it to you now again, but just so you know that there is a little slightly useful tricky thing that you can do by getting good with these marks and the last the last jump mark. This is the set wrap command, which turns on and off the wrapping of lines if they go off the edge. Set list shows control codes. If you're wondering why stuff is wrapping off the edge and you click and delete and it gets smaller at a weird rate, or you can't click where you want, you can turn on set list, and I don't really have many. Well, there's a control I and some other control codes that snuck in there somehow, and this $ means end of line, and this shows you anything that might be invisible. You can even have it set to put a little dot in the middle of all your spaces, and it can have it can show you tabs also. Is it down here somewhere? I might have it on, there it is, yes, set list. So set list is the command, and then you can customize the way the list shows up and which characters can get visible with the set list characters. And a cool one is set tab. It does a little stretchy greater than less than with a stretchy line in the middle, which is fun. Set keyword is a keyword that controls what the lowercase w word, which you use a lot, thinks of as a word. It thinks of it as a separator between words. So in this case, I'm mostly going on spaces, but let's go down to this here. See, it also it thinks the dot is a separator. It thinks that dash is a separator. And let's see if I can add it real quick. But set is keyword. What is it? Minus. Minus equals minus. Let's see if I can do it real quick. So word. Nope, it doesn't skip it. I guess I'll try real quick with plus. It's a funny thing to. Oh, probably the minus is doing something. There we go. See, I'm skipping the dash, so that if I want to never break these dashed words, and always when I copy and paste, or if the line cuts off at the end, and I never want web and site to get split up. In some cases, that's called NBSP, non-breaking space. Anyway, you can control it and its visibility with is keyword. And also what's nice about that is when you're in the command line, down here, one of the few things that you can do is hit Control W, and it follows those same small word definition rules to control exactly how fast you delete. The large W cannot be changed. Large W is always, large W words are just separated by white space. That's it. So, all right, that's a fair amount of stuff. We have all these horizontally things. I guess I'll try to cover the rest real quick, 16 minutes. So tabbing is oddly complex because usually tabs are actually spaces. When I turned that on, you didn't see a lot of tabs, even though I hit a lot of tabs making this, and that's because Vim is rearranging my spaces and lining things up for me, and it's easier for it to keep them at spaces. Sometimes tabs themselves are more fun. And then there's tabbing to tab stops and inserting and indenting. So tabbing is oddly complex, more so than you would think. There are some special selectors that can be useful horizontally that have to. These are special text objects and aspects of text objects that you can only use and select while you're in a visual selection, while you're currently doing this kind of stuff, or just after you've begun an operator. Like if I'm up here and let's say I'm planning on yanking the word operator with Y, you can see the cursor will change Y. And then let's say capital I for inner word, and that yanked the word, but I'll do something a little more dramatic. I'm going to delete inner word, and see it left 2 spaces. It deleted only the inside of the word. And undo, and delete around word. Took that extra space. It decided to reconstruct my sentence for me properly, didn't take both spaces. It saves a lot of time with having to fiddly go back and delete spaces and correct things. So these are called inner and around operators, and they can be used to enhance a lot of the other tags and motions, because they let you select if you want the inside of the thing in its core, or maybe if you're selecting inside quotes, do you want the quotes as well? And this can be really fast to remove quotes and tags around stuff, because you quickly go inside, delete both the thing and the quotes, and then repaste just the inside thing. Or vice versa. You cut the thing out, type in your 2 quotes, back step 1 character so that you're inside the 2 quotes, and then paste. Anyway, I want to get through this real fast. We have, so visual selections can give access to inner and around specifiers for text objects, and they can also be used inside of quotes. So, and quotes, the quote themselves are an object. So I'm going to say visual inside, and then I'm going to hit the double quote, regular old double quote, and it selected everything that's inside the 2 quotes. I can say visual around double quote. It grabbed up, and in this case went not only both quotes inside, but took some to the left. I'm going to say visual inside single quote. Oh, I did something wrong, but visual inside single quote. And you can do S for sentences. In that case, visual inside sentence, semi-human sentence, visual around sentences. Tags, you hit these greater than, less than. So those are an additional way to work with text objects that, in addition to like the way that TTFT and everything lets you specify very exactly if you end up to the left of a character or the right of a character, on top of it or whatever. These let you grab a chunk of something and let you really easily select you want the inner chunk or a little bit more. Anyway, did I actually get to all the good stuff? This is an example of a fairly complex line that you might want to work with. There's like too many slashes, and here's a file name. So what I'm going to demonstrate is how easily it is to line up and horizontally scroll things with visual mode, and then the power of Control E and Control Y. So let's say I want this lower one to be to the right a little bit. I'm going to say V for visual mode, doesn't matter how much, and then I'm going to say right, and I can say 3 visual right, and I can just kind of keep popping it over until I have it lined up however I want. So once I do have something lined up the way I want, you can use these Control E and Control Y characters when you're in insert mode to grab from either side of the line. So if you don't want to retype a line, you've got some technical stuff and it's super finicky, you don't want to, let's say I want to work with source from this line and source from this line, and I'm going to end up with my result in the center, and I don't want to go finicky grab bit by bit. Words might still be efficient, but what you can do is, if you hit Control E while you're in insert mode, see it grab the S from below, delete that, hit Y, grab the W and work from above. So I'm going to go, give me from above, from above, from above, work, but now I want from below, E. Let's go back upstairs, Y, 2026's, period, use, dot, anyway, so this, see, I'm able to grab exactly whatever character is above or exactly whatever character is below. So if you have a bunch of technical gobbledygook, it makes the chance of mistyping it 0, which can be quite relief. It's nice. You can't really automate it though. There's no way to add a number or anything. And you got to put your thing above and below, and then you probably want to line up with your indenting. Anyway, that really is all the stuff. We're just over 22 minutes. That's the majority of controls over hops and jumps horizontally. You can set the marks, of course, are MA. Whoops. Let's go over here. Say MA for mark using mark A. Go here, mark B, and then let's say mark MC down there. And so then you say single quote A to hop to the A, B, C, B, A, that kind of thing. And you can actually use the bracket marks that will find whatever the next mark in the file that you placed is sequentially. So if I say single quote right, it starts hopping around. Anyway, there's some interesting marks that let you work with the last mark system. So sometimes when you're working with horizontal stuff, and I might demonstrate it, it's a little bit complicated. This is a regular old command line command saying substitute everything that says character 1 instead with character 2. Do it for every instance on the line. That's what the G means. And the C means to also confirm it. So let's say I'm being lazy. I'm looking at this. Some files use periods instead of spaces. So I want to get rid of some of those things. I'm going to go here and say substitute \period, so it's not a special character anymore, just regular period, match a period, and replace it with, let's say nothing, and I'm going to say GC. So try each one and confirm it with me first. Replace with, where are we? Some files use, no, files, no, periods. Instead, yes, let's get rid of that period. Instead of spaces. All right, so let's say quit, and then we would say delete till the period. Oh, I need to get rid of that too. Spaces. Anyway, that's an example of being very spaced as you fiddle around with straightening out a line. Anything you can do to reduce your anxiety and losing track of whether or not a number in some hashtag or something gets misrepresented or some log file gets smudged or something. It's nice to do these things in an automated way rather than having to sit there and tick, delete, deal with each little period. You don't know exactly what you did. Maybe you messed up. You got to go back and remember. when I run this command, that substitute command, I know exactly what happened and only what happened. These are some very useful commands because these are the two substitute commands, I won't run them, that, what the heck, yank, and you go up here, and it's going to substitute those slashes and flip them the other direction. So if you're going in between Windows and Mac or Windows and Linux and you need to change your forward slashes to backslashes because your file paths, those two commands are how you do it. Unduty. Mark particular characters. This I wrote about using registers to grab. So if I want to grab this thing here, I could also say quote A, yank, and let's say I want this word here, images, and I'll say quote B, yank, and what the heck, the word vector. So quote C, yank. So now if I go down here and go into insert mode, and I'll say Control R to insert register A, Control R B to insert register B, Control R C to insert, or if I wanted to rearrange them, Control R C, Control R B, Control R A, or whatever. So I've got 26 of these little copy paste clipboards to work with. You can grab stuff instead of just one single clipboard, which is great. And not only that, but if I wanted to be a little more finicky, it's a pain in the butt a little bit, but you can use capital A or capital letter instead of any of those 26, and it will append to the clipboard register rather than overwrite it. So I could just go, each time I grab it, it pastes it onto the end of what's in your clipboard, and then you dump your clipboard at the end. That's a very common use case or work method. So that was messing with, yeah, we really covered pretty much all the powerful stuff for horizontal comparisons and everything. Settings with the list characters and making tab visible. You can add matching pair, hopping on tags, change how HTML like tags get hopped. Yank into registers. I'll just show diff really quickly. If you say new and new, and then say diff this, and here diff this, let's yank, paste, paste. All right, so these two lines are being compared now vertically on top of each other. What happened there? All right, I'm gonna go one last try. Paste. There we go. Okay. So, these two lines, sorry about that, they're now lined up exactly kind of on top of each other if I want. And let's say I go here and I change the R to A, and I hop away. Now you see it's highlighted blue, which it wasn't before, but also even on that specific character, it tells you this is the character that actually differs from this line to this line, or you have some other harder to track mistake somewhere. So this vimdiff thing can help you visually and can change all the colors. You can see the difference between these two lines and then start working with your Control EY things. Anyway, that's like all the stuff. Lots of powerful things for horizontal movement, grabbing, and rearranging. It's been half an hour, but in the first 5 minutes, most of the powerful stuff was mentioned. Good luck. Have a great day. Take care. Goodbye. Take care. Bye.